So today we are going to discuss about the thing which is called the smart automatic dustbin, which is made by me. So now let's talk about the basics of this dustbin. Well, automation is the thing which we all know that is coming around us in order to make our life simpler and even more exciting. So what is this actually relies on computer vision, which means it uses sensors in order to communicate with the computer. Then the computer gives out an output, and that output is again processed and then which is actually grounded and practically applied in the dustbin itself. So now let me talk you about the different types of modules that we have used here. First of all, we have an ultrasonic sensor, which is a simple module that you can find on any electronic shop. Well, ultrasonic sensor relies on a thing of outputting or transmitting and receiving signals. Well, they already know the speed of the ultrasonic sensor or the speed of ultrasonic sound. So using the formula speed is equal distance upon time, you can calculate the distance, which is nothing but speed multiplied by time, by which it gets and senses that something is in its front or there is nothing. Which means if I place my hand at the front of the sensor, the computer will get to know that something is further or in the front of the sensor itself. The sensor has been internally connected with the wires and out of the dustbin itself. Then at the rear side, here is the main computer. This is the place where most of the processing occurs. Well, this is an Arduino Uno. You can find it on any online store or any electronic shop. Well, it is the main computer that uses logic operators in order to process and perform any type of function. So the 4 pins which are remaining or just excluding these 3 wires are coming from the sensor itself. So the sensor have 4 pins. The 4 pins are ground, or what we call the negative, VCC or 5 volt signal. There is the trigger and one is echo. The trigger pin is used to get the signal to the computer, and the echo pin is going to the sensor in order to produce the ultrasonic sound itself. Well, you need ground and VCC in order to power that signal. Okay, so then let's talk about this. Computer has a very small flash memory because it has to perform very small things. It is not that much powerful. In order to run it, you can give it or use a 12 volt DC socket, or you can use a printer head. This is also used for programming. Well, in order to program, we use Arduino IDLE. Arduino IDLE stands for Arduino Integrated Development Learning Environment. In order to open. So how do we open it? Let's see what's inside. Well, going inside the dustbin, here you see this motor. This is a 9 gram servo motor, as you can see this blue part, which is connected with different crossbars in order to get that rotational motion into the linear motion that is wanted in order to open these. This also relies on a very simple concept of torque conversion. Well, there is a very small DC motor which is controlled by a PWM signal, which is given none other than but by the Arduino itself using the digital pins. Well, it controls the servo actuator and gives it the proper signal that it wants to in order to open the dustbin itself. The dustbin, as you can see, is enclosed and it can only go and open in one side, so it sounds a bit professional. Now we know that servo motor have a potentiometer inside which actively calculates how much the dust has been opened or not. So here we have 4 LEDs on, which are already soldered or which are given by the computer itself. Those are light, transferring data, receiving data, and on. On LED will always be on no matter what you do and whatever you do, because it shows or indicate if the power delivery is okay or not. This light function is also on, as it tells about is your Arduino's all the pins are working correctly or not. Well, you have multiple different example sketches. Well, you can go and check out different kind of example sketches in order to get this LED blinking, which is your 13 and ground LED, as you can see side by side. So Now let's talk about the practicality of these projects. First of all, how will you run it? First of all, we need this kind of OT cable, or what we call the Vision Terabyte cable, which is responsible in order to program and power this board. You can use a DC socket, but that is a bit overcomplicated. So this cable at one side has the DC socket, and you can find it on any printer shop, or this is the same cable that we use it to power a printer and to also give the printer its data that it has to print. At the other side you have just simple USB A type, so you can put this in any power bank or any conventional power brick. So here I have 1+ watt charging brick, and I can easily insert this inside, and the power will go from the main socket. Then this board or this power brick will convert it from that 220 volts AC into 12 volt or 5 volt DC depending on your board. Like if you have higher versions of your Arduino board, which is Arduino Atmega 4080, then you have to use higher power because it has higher analog signals. Now once I have already started the pin, as you can see, this thing already gets current. Okay, so as I hold this and insert this in our board, and you will notice that the dustbin has been opened itself. So the code at the starting says that you have to scan the surroundings in order to get any kind of data that you want. So when you actually start the board, you can use this reset function or this small button in order to reset the code. So the code will start from the beginning itself. If there is any kind of problem, you can press it. Now you can see or notice this RX LED blinking, the second number LED. That's the receiving data frequency, which means the ultrasonic sensor is currently sensing the environment around it. So now what we have to do, first of all, in order to calibrate, we have to just give it a hand. The LED has stopped blinking. After a time, this automatically closed. Now you can see the LED has been started to glow and blink again. It is again scanning. So there is a time amount of a fixed distance and which it gets the signal. Like for example, you have to place your finger, foot or any kind of object just around 5 to 10 centimeters away in order to get the sense of the sensor. So when I place my finger, the ultrasonic sensor senses it and moves it to the computer itself, and the computer processes the logic and gives it to the motor, which the motor it opens it. Well, there are multiple different combinations of sensors that you can use in order to automate. In order to this, automatic doors are also relied in the same concept, but instead of a servo motor, you have a stepper motor is known for exact rotational movement, which you can connect to a pinion and a rack shaft gear in order to move that circular gear or the circular motion into a rectilinear motion of a door in order to get the sliding doors that you have in malls and different kind of places. Thank you.